DJ and PK coming up. Kevin Young, BYU men's basketball coach, is going to join us at 9 o'clock. That was the original plan. He's bumped back to 9:40. So if you're showing up right now, sorry about that.
Well,
but he'll be here.
2 new recruits just signed. I think the number 4 guy in the country and the number 7 guy in the country.
You're making stuff up now.
It's Kevin Young, man.
We'll talk to him in 30, 35 minutes right here on the Zone.
Well, it's just, this is unheard of, man. It's still... It is perplexing to me and just baffling to me how for years this couldn't be done. And he comes in and he has a speech there on the night he accepts the job publicly in a press conference. And after 1 year, everything he said he was going to do, he's done. He's done. He's reached the high water mark of several coaches. Now, Frank Arnold with...
Danny Ainge, Sweet 16.
Got him there. Well,
Kite and Roberts.
They won that game, so they went to the Elite Eight.
Elite Eight, yeah.
And that's it. And then Jimmer, Sweet 16, would have gotten more with the Brandon Davies situation. But that's it. So he's already...
In rarefied air in BYU history.
In the first season, and he gets a lottery pick. We'll see how he turns out as a pro. The last lottery pick they had... Jimmer, we already know that story. And then Arujo, that story didn't end well. So we'll see what Yegor can do going forward. And obviously they'll have another one here in June of 26 with our guy, A.J. DeBonsa. Yeah, absolutely. And they'll probably have 2 draft picks, at least 2, because Saunders will be out of eligibility, I believe, right? He's a senior. And talking to Kevin last week, he said he was pretty confident that if Saunders had gone into the draft last year, he would have been mid-second. Now has maybe that opportunity to move up. Although it's going to be interesting, because he was the man last year for that team, right? He really came on. And that's another thing that Kevin Young called. He said at the beginning of the season, Saunders is NBA talent. I thought, well, turns out Kevin Young knows what he's talking about. And how's that going to be? How's the dynamic going to be? Because you go of being the man as a junior to not being the man as a senior.
How do you do playing off the ball?
Yeah. How does that work with DeBonsa? And don't underestimate Wright.
I suspect that Kevin Young has told him, yes, it'll be difficult, but guess what? When you go to the NBA, you're not going to be the man, so...
But he's trying
now.
to get to the NBA. I don't think that it is a guarantee that he's in the NBA. This is an audition for the NBA, and not having the ball, you will not be able to audition as well as you would have potentially your junior year. I don't think he's a guaranteed lock NBA player. That's going to be a dynamic.
But if he's got Kevin Young in his corner telling people he has a relationship with, this guy was good when he was a guy, and this guy was good when he had to play off the ball.
That's great. That'll get him an opportunity, but it won't keep him in the league.
No, he'll have
help
to
him make the league.
Right, but to stay in the league, you're going to have to do it when you get there.
Well, to make the league. You got to make the league before you stay in the league. I don't know that he would be a high first-rounder or whatever, and all second-rounders are – the whole goal is to make the league.
Make a roster.
And then go from there. And so it's going to be a different dynamic for him. Doesn't mean it can't work. Doesn't mean he can't flourish. It's just going to be different. I don't know how it's going to play out. That is what we'll find out. But it adds to the intrigue. And then also, too, it's important that DeBonsa comes in as a top 2 or 3 pick, that he goes out as a top 2 or 3 pick.
Right.
Yeah, and that's just up to the players, the other 2, Boozer and the other kid over at Kansas, the Darren kid, and then who has what need when the draft lottery is not determined for another 10 months. But whatever he's projected top 3, and to not have him go top 3, or if he goes 4, that's not a big deal. But we've seen some kids who enter their freshman season as a lottery pick and then get nowhere near it and then don't make the league. That's a knock on that program. Now, some of these coaches, if that were to happen, Bill Self, if that were to happen, well, he's got so much credibility built up that it doesn't matter. Kevin Young is in the beginning stages of this thing, and I think it's extremely important that, and I asked him about that the other day, and I said, you feel pressure, and he says, we feel a responsibility. It's sort of splitting hairs there, but I like the word responsibility too. I think that's appropriate in this case. And everything Kevin has done with the team has been impressive. The stones to be able to just sit down Catchings and say, this isn't working, knowing full well the second he sits him down, he's gone. And bring in Mag, who's a senior, who's going to be gone, but it helped the team that year get what they needed to get. That was a brilliant move.
As much as this boggles your mind, it seems like there's multiple things that have changed. One, obviously, the NIL rules changed, so there was an opportunity there that hadn't been there before.
I think that's overstated, though.
Kevin, and that's why there's more things. And obviously, Kevin Young came in with what he knows about basketball and, just as importantly, who he knows in basketball. So that's different. And coming in with an NBA pedigree, not something BYU had before. And then they went to the Big 12. Now, the way they were recruiting and the way the program was run, they were third place in the West Coast Conference most of the time. And not every year, but most of the time. Moving to the Big 12, didn't they have to change the way they were doing things or just be looking at, hey, we're going to be bottom 4 or 5 in this league?
Well, the thing changed. The NIL changed for them.
Yep.
I mean,
a lot of things happen all at once.
Stuff beyond that?
There could be something beyond that. I mean, I think clearly those three things changed, and that's why BYU basketball now doesn't look anything like BYU basketball 5 years ago.
Well, I think they clearly relaxed the grooming standards on the honor code.
Yeah.
He's talking about a player that he said it reminds him of Kenneth Fareed, and then he said it's not just the hair. Well, that just shot up.
Because the hair is part of it.
Yeah, but that 5-10 years ago, the Kenneth Fareed hair wouldn't be allowed.
Be a non-starter.
And now it is.
Yeah.
So and I have no problem with it. I know they don't want to ever talk about it, but it's obvious.
It's clear it happens.
Yeah. And they've done some other things that I was telling them. I was talking to somebody over the weekend. Well, what about how come they didn't let Retzlaff? I said, because it was a lawsuit, man. Yeah. They're up against it there. They had no choice. That's why the coaches, as soon as it came out, he's gone. I came in June, and I said, they're preparing for the season without the guy. And, oh, by the way, keep an eye on this other guy. And I think that's come to pass. So as far as that goes. So they've relaxed some things there, and that's fine. I got no problem. They can do away with the honor code for all I care. And then I have no personal interest in it one way or the other. But that's what they've done. And the money, it's the fact that they've stepped up their game and went all in is a little surprising when for years and years they would say, well, we're going to do more with less. Well, now they're going to do more with more. But a kid like DeBonsa and these other top kids, they were going to get that anywhere. But yet they still chose BYU. It wasn't like it was BYU or not financially. That's not the case.
No, he had multiple suitors.
Yeah.
He just had to pick.
They were going to get that money. Those kids are going to get that money no matter where they go, and they chose BYU. That still blows me away.
DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. We're about 20 minutes away from chatting with Kevin Young right here on The Zone.